team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawg.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawg, and we back to it. You know how we do it. The real reason why Larry Bird hates Bill Laimbeer. So I just reacted to a video kind of showing a play where Bill Laimbeer fouled the heck out of Larry Bird, and because of that, Larry Bird started going crazy. You know, like in a good way. He went crazy after he got fouled, throwing the ball and swinging and all that. But after that, he started playing really, really good. And they was almost saying like Bill Laimbeer actually regretted fouling him like that, because if he didn't like foul him that hard and kind of make him mad, he might not would have turned up like that. So I thought that was a really, really interesting video. And then I see this one. The real reason why Larry Bird hates Bill Laimbeer. And I don't know if that foul is the real reason why, or if there's another reason why. But let's get into this video. But before we do, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. I'm tired of saying it, but I know I have to say it. It's a business. So please, please, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 10K by the end of the month. Go ahead and like this video. If you like this video, you go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know how much do you hate Bill Laimbeer. I know it's going to be a lot of people in these comments, especially the Bird Gang. I know the Bird Gang is going to talk about how much they hate Bill Laimbeer. But also, people that I know it's going to be some Piston fans that's probably going to watch this video too. And let me know how y'all feel about Bill Laimbeer. Do y'all actually like him? Like, was he one of those players that you would hate to play against but would love to be on your team? Let me know in the comments, man. But let's react to this video. We got the real reason why Larry Bird hates Bill Laimbeer. Let's get it.
If there's one rivalry that NBA fans have been hearing about for decades, it's the one between Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer.
Facts.
Their feud has been going on since the 80s, and it doesn't look like it's coming to an end anytime soon. Let's trace the history of their rivalry, starting with a little background on both of these players. Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer entered the professional ranks at the same time. The only difference was that Bird got the 6th overall pick in the 1978 NBA draft, while Laimbeer was selected in the 3rd round a year later. And this was despite the fact that Bird was just returning for his senior year at Indiana State when he got picked. Both Bird and Laimbeer grew up in the Midwest, with Bird finding
Midwest
his roots
kids
in Indiana and Laimbeer hailing from Chicago. Crazily enough,
Larry with the break in the middle, Bird a runner.
the two also played college basketball for a Hoosier State school, but that's where the similarities come to an end. Bird and Laimbeer come from very different families. Bird lost his father at a young age and grew up in a very humble household. On the other hand, Laimbeer's father was a prominent Owens, Illinois executive. The differences seeped onto the court as the two players played different positions. Bird was a forward, while Laimbeer was a bruising center. When it came to feuding, Bird relied on his trash talk, while Laimbeer thrived on his physicality. But wait till you find out that this whole thing was rivalry at first sight.
Bird won't go. Bird the rebound. Over his head to McHale.
I don't know how he got that pass in there.
Immediately disliked each other. Their feud started all the way back in the mid-80s. By this time, Laimbeer had established himself as one of the best players in the Eastern Conference. He was playing with the Detroit Pistons, and his team was on the rise, which naturally made him a moving target for many jealous rivals. One of them happened to be the Boston Celtics, which is the team that Larry Bird played for. Other Celtics players tried to keep it civil when they were asked about their opinions on Laimbeer.
Was that true? They said Bill Laimbeer was one of the best players in the Eastern Conference. Let me know how true that is. I didn't know that. I thought he was just a fouler.
Celtics center
So he's
Robert
actually good.
Parrish basically said he'd rather keep his opinions to himself, because if you have nothing nice to say about someone, say nothing at all. But Bird stayed true to his reputation as an outspoken player. When he was asked the same question, he said, "We don't like him that good." And that's when the public got to know that there was some beef going on between these two.
Right too tight. Larry a little fake down.
So who? I thought that was Bill 1.
But little did fans know that things would soon escalate beyond a few hostile words. That's right, things soon got physical.
14. Bird, little fake, down the lane.
Bill Laimbeer said, I ain't going for none of that, man. You ain't about to be doing no 180 dunks on me.
Conference Finals in 1987, and the Birds' Boston Celtics were up against Laimbeer's Detroit Pistons. It was Game 3, and the Celtics were leading 2-0. I'm sure Laimbeer must have been extremely frustrated to be losing to his biggest rival, but what he did next was just inexcusable. The scuffle started in the fourth quarter of the game. Laimbeer roughly pulled down Bird, smashing him into the floor
Okay,
as
so
he
it's the
moved
same
to
foul.
assist Dennis Rodman on defense. Bird didn't take long to retaliate as he threw a punch at Laimbeer. Both of them were now on the floor, and people rushed in to separate the two players. But Bird wasn't going to let Bill off this easily. He flung a basketball in Laimbeer's direction.
This is the
and
funniest
ball
part
hit
right
hard
here.
on the shoulder. Both players released statements after the game. Many believed Laimbeer started the fight when he pulled Bird down, but Laimbeer tried to justify his actions. He said Bird went up for the shot, and it looked like Rodman was going to undercut him. I grabbed hold of Larry to break my fall. But let's just say that many fans saw right through his lies. Bird didn't buy his story
That's
either.
cap.
In response, he said, yeah, right, he was trying to break his fall. And when I threw the ball, I was just trying to get it to the ref. The scuffle continued.
They both lying.
As Laimbeer sniped back with sarcastic praise for Bird's passing ability. In the end, it was Larry who got the final word in, as he challenged his rival to a one-on-one battle. But that was just the beginning of the drama.
Beneath him and probably with a little off balance.
Give it back to him. Dunk some. Hey! Who said Larry Bird wasn't athletic?
Stayed hostile to each other throughout the 90s, and a huge part of it was because of the intense rivalry between their teams. Ultimately, Laimbeer's Pistons gained the upper hand against Bird's Celtics as they won back-to-back titles in 1989 and 1990. The Celtics, on the other hand, were going into a slow decline. After they lost the Eastern Conference Finals rematch against the Pistons in 1988, Bird started to decline as well as he suffered a back injury. After the 1991 to 1992 season, Bird announced his retirement from the sport after playing just 45 games that season. His retirement ceremony, Larry Bird Night, took place in February 1993.
Hey! The crossover to the 1 foot. Like, these highlights will never get old.
Bob Costas.
I know this video is about the beef between these two, but I love watching these highlights, man, because they never get old. Hitting with the crossover. Let me rewind that, man. Let me rewind that. He didn't have to go on 1 foot. The off the 1 foot just made it so hard. Off the glass, too.
Sportscasting icon Bob Costas couldn't help but bring up Larry's rivalry with Laimbeer. He pointed out that Laimbeer wasn't present at the event and asked Larry what he'd tell Bill if he was here. Staying true to himself, Larry answered that he'd probably hang Bill up in the rafters with his jersey. But of course, Laimbeer didn't let Larry get away with these comments so easily. He was pretty
Costas
vocal
toxic
about
for
the
that
fact
question.
that he thought Bird was playing horribly before he finally threw in the towel. He made digs at Bird's last few seasons, which hadn't been the smoothest. Towards the end of his career, Bill was quoted as saying that he didn't want to go out like Larry Bird. I'm sure that must have stung. But as much as Bill was trash-talking Larry, his own stats weren't looking too good. Laimbeer eventually retired early in the 1993-94 season, soon after Larry. During his last stretch, Laimbeer's stats were looking worse than what Larry's had been towards the end. And
I was about to say, too, like, would y'all say that Bill Laimbeer kind of got the last laugh of this, where I know he fouled him, super bad foul, and then after that, Larry Bird went crazy, so you can kind of say Larry Bird got the last laugh, but a few years later, Larry Bird ended up retiring, and the Pistons was in the finals and winning championships, playing against the Lakers, like, so I wanted to say, did Bill Laimbeer get the last laugh? But he ended up retiring like a year after Larry Bird, so I don't know. Let me know
this
though.
was despite the fact that Larry was still dealing with a back injury. Even though the two players left the NBA, their mutual dislike didn't end there. Their rivalry extended well into their retirement. They've had one of the bitterest rivalries in the NBA, and they're not stopping anytime soon. Pretty soon they'll be throwing shade at each other half a century into their feud.
For
which
sure.
is just so crazy to think about, because you only live like, what, 80 years? Imagine hating someone so passionately for most of your life, constantly bringing them up just so you can tear them down. I'm sure the feud is bringing negative energy into both of their lives.
Good pass. Who passed that?
but the two are just too stubborn to put an end to it. In 2008, Laimbeer took a dig at the way Bird was doing an Indiana Pacers executive, saying he'd probably quit if he was in a similar situation. Laimbeer went on to emphasize that he has no plans to keep in touch with Bird, as the two of them had never been friends. Way to state the obvious. It's one thing disliking someone, but another thing entirely to have them living in your mind rent-free. And it isn't just Larry who's stuck in Bill's mind. It's the other way around, too. Recently, Bird said that Laimbeer was a dirty player. He confessed that he didn't like Bill, both on and off the court. In an interview with Bill Simmons in 2013, he explained that he hated Laimbeer so much because he was a dirty player who would deliberately try to hurt his opponents. Larry said that he'd understand that Bill had to do what he had to do to get his team across, but what was unacceptable was the aggression with which Laimbeer would strike. Other Piston players wouldn't try to maim you, and this is what set Laimbeer apart, according to Larry. And that's how Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer's feud has been going on for decades, without any signs of coming to an end soon. See you in the next video.
Those are two good videos right there. I'll probably react to both of them. But I appreciate y'all for watching this one with me. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't already. Go ahead and like this video if you like this video, and go ahead and write something in the comments. Let me know how you feel about the Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer feud. It's a good one. It's one that I think is gonna last forever. I don't think they're ever gonna be cool. I was gonna ask y'all the question, what rivalry, beef, feud, whatever you want to call it, which one do you think will end sooner? Isaiah and Jordan, or Larry Bird and Bill Laimbeer? And honestly, I don't think neither one of them are going to eventually be cool. But I think if I had to choose, it would be the Michael Jordan Isaiah one, only because I think they used to be friends. Bill Laimbeer, like, I was never friends with Larry Bird. How can I end a beef and become cool with somebody that I was never cool with? So I think it'll probably be the Michael Jordan Isaiah feud. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.